Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And today we have a really wonderful show in store for you, which is heart-based. And John is going to tell us more about it.
Yeah, thank you, Jolé. Yeah, this is going to be a power-packed show today, so we are not going to delay. One of the things we're going to talk about is the Drunvalo Melchizedek, the Awakening the Illuminated Heart workshop that I took recently, which is why we didn't do the live show last week. So we're going to go into that in some depth, but first and foremost, we have what I regard as a complementary kind of section, which is to do with a lady called Ann Tucker, who she channels the angels. She's really, really good at what she does. And she did an interview very recently, within the last week, with Emilio Ortiz, and we've featured Emilio's work before. He's a wonderful guy. And when I was listening to this, I felt so much alignment with what the messaging was coming from the Awakening the Illuminated Heart workshop, that I felt that we should run with this as well as the almost like the precursor to going deeper into the Drunvalo stuff. So with that said, one of the things that we're talking about within this particular section now is about the flash of light, as the angels refer to what is coming up for the world. Something is going to happen. And this is going to change everything, everything. And this is not something that you might notice or you might not notice. Everyone will notice, and there will be no exceptions. You may have heard talk about the 3 days of darkness in the past. We've heard a variety of people talking about that over the last few years. And some of it has been rather steeped in fear, which is completely unnecessary. And when you get people trying to push fear your way, then always be very wary. But it doesn't mean that the 3 days of darkness doesn't exist. It just means that the whole rationale for it is very different. And it's something much more heart-based. As Jolé said earlier, this is what it's all about. This is what Drunvalo is all about. It's living in the heart. It's kind of like getting out of the mind, the duality of the mind, and into the unity of the heart. And this is very much about the metamorphosis that humanity will go through in the not too distant future. And how do you define not too distant future? Well, certainly within the next decade, I would be pretty certain of that. And this is another thing that is very interesting. I heard the other day from a source that I completely respect and I completely trust in the judgment because of where their connections are. And they were saying it may be before 2030 that this will actually happen. But before this happens, there will be an increase in the density. There'll be an increase in, the war energy. There'll be an increase in various other things, maybe natural disasters, who knows. But what that is all designed for a purpose, because chaos is a prerequisite for change. So sometimes you have to see these things ramping up in order for people to awaken. Because if the world around you doesn't change, why should you change? For most people, they won't. And why would you? Because you know the rules of the game. You know it may be imperfect. You may not be happy with the way the world is playing out right now, but you have a job, you have a roof over your head, you have an education for your kids or whatever, right? You kind of understand the rules of the game. But this is going to be something that cannot be ignored. And it's starting this year. And it's going to be ramping up from there. I suspect something around the US elections. There's an image that I will share with you right now, because this really tells you what the nature of the issue is. So here, this is measured in NTs, which is, of course, the nanoteslas, they're called. And it's a way of measuring the magnetic field. So this is the magnetic field of the Earth, which has been dropping significantly. And the poles, the magnetic poles, have been moving. And as you can see, the blue area, which is over Brazil, over Chile, over Peru, over, stretching down into Argentina, Colombia will be under there as well. This is an area where the field is significantly depleted. And what happens there is that the Earth's magnetic field defends us from a lot of cosmic rays that are out there and things that could do us harm, different forms of radiation. So I think that what we will see is that the rates of cancer and the likes in the Latin American area, once these things start to get published, we will see there is a spike there. Now, how can we get over this? Well, actually, we all have our own electromagnetic field as purely a case of who we are. So I'm going to just switch this off for a second. But certainly, I mean, if I show you, this is the Drunvalo book that I mentioned earlier, which is Living in the Heart. If you look at that person, that's actually the image there, that's a typical toroidal field that we all have. It's more powerful when you're living in the heart rather than in the mind. It becomes a lot more powerful, and we can accentuate this field. And by doing that, then you won't be affected. It's as if the Earth's magnetic field was as strong as ever. So the really important point about this, apart from the fact it's just life enhancing anyway, and gets us to the new consciousness level that we're supposed to get to, is that it will act as a defensive layer against any of this radiation that is excess radiation that might come our way because of the continuing Earth depletion. Because that image that you just saw was from 5 years ago. What it looks like now, I'm not quite so sure, but we know there's been ongoing changes, but we also know that governments and national media are not really talking very much about it. There's plenty of information you can find. Check it out on YouTube, the geomagnetic reversal, and you will find a lot of information out there from a scientific perspective. And I know we did cover some of this off a few weeks ago, so go back and double check on the one that we put out there, because there was some very scientific information, as well as also what Drunvalo himself had to say about it. So really, I suppose that, that's the point, is that when we are sick, our electromagnetic field is weakened. When we're healthy, it means that it is strong. And, this living in the heart idea, it becomes very strong. So if we're stuck in the 3D density, if we're stuck in fear, if we're stuck in anger, if we're stuck in all these things that we're often encouraged towards, then that is depleting. Love is the answer to everything. And we're not just talking about the physical body here, because as Jolé mentioned earlier, there's also, as they described in the course, they described it as the emotional body and the mental body. And each of those is 1/3 of who we are. So if all we ever focus on is the physical body, that's only 1/3 of who we are. And all issues that come along from a medical perspective, it's because these things are out of balance. It's one of the things that Jolé helps us to do, is to rebalance those energies. I'm not going to ramble on any more about that. Now, I am going to bring Jolé in for your thoughts.
I am here, but I'm going to stay unseen so that we can go into the meditation, because that's a great setup for us to get into coherence and alignment with our heart and our brain, and learn how to do that on a regular basis. So in the moment, when you feel those feelings, boom, you have tools that will help you get back into harmonization. I like to call it harmony, because balance, you think about balance, right? You ain't moving. Because in order to stay balanced, you gotta do that thing to where you're moving up and down to stay in that place. So when you harmonize and integrate, you can move. So let's put our feet flat on the floor. Make sure you're sitting someplace comfortable with back support, so you don't have to focus on that while you're creatively visualizing. Put your hands, palms face up on your thighs. For those of you laying down, you know the drill. Put your feet flat on the floor for the first part of the meditation. We want you to close your eyes and then begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body. I just want you to tap in. This is your body. You are in control. You have the influence and the power to guide your body, mind, and spirit in the right direction. We need the knowledge and the wisdom. So as you bring your awareness into the center of your chest, I want you to command all of the cells in your heart throughout your body to turn heart-shaped. And this is the first way we can start to feel love and fortify that aura layer. So as we connect with the aura layer, we're breathing, we've turned our blood cells, our atoms heart-shaped. We want to pull in our aura layer to be 1.5 feet around us. This is our personal space. We call our higher self back at a comfortable distance above our crown, and we want to make sure that our higher self is standing in the power position. And we root and ground ourselves with the grounding cord of a natural earth element. It is 6 inches in diameter. Visualize this. Of a natural earth element. Is it going to be a beam of light, tunnel of water, a rope, a tree trunk? Sometimes I use a quartz crystal. Whatever is of Mother Earth, create that 6 inches in diameter and see that connected to that first chakra between your sit bones, and visualize that moving down through Mother Earth all the way into her core. There's the lithosphere and the crust of that, and then the asthenosphere, and then you get into the core of Mother Earth root and feel her love. Breathe with the rhythm of your body and just take a minute and connect with Mother Earth. And give gratitude. She feeds, she shelters, and she clothes you. Now, call in your golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles, because we must clean off our grounding cord to be brought into the present moment. So allow those to do what they do on your grounding cord as you bring your awareness back to your heart. You take a breath in, you exhale, and now we're going to start working with the center of the head. So we're going to sit in the center of the head, but we're going to focus in on the prefrontal cortex. This is where decision-making, feelings, emotions, all of that is processed. So I want you to just feel what it feels like. Just relax and just breathe with the rhythm of your body as you sit in the center of your head. You and I both know there's a lot of gunk in here. We don't want any of it anymore. None of it. We want new feelings, new choices, new ways of making decisions that support our journey and our purpose. So that's exactly what we're going to take a minute to tell our brain. You know, look, I love you. Thank you so much for being here for me and helping me. But there's a lot of gunk. So we're going to clean you out and reprogram you. And this is how I want you to behave from here on out. And send all the rest of this gunk down my grounding cord. Okay, so take a minute and do that. A few seconds while it is commanded that there is a golden sun placed above your head by the divine creator of all that is. Positive life force energy pulsating through this sun, cosmic and divine. So while you're programming your prefrontal cortex and cleaning it out, and you're this from the center of your head, and your grounding cord and that connection to Mother Earth is being clean and cleared, bringing you into the present moment, I want you to just breathe with the rhythm of your body. And clearly see these things while you tell your brain what it is to do. Now we're going to take a deep breath in and exhale. And we're going to bring that, open our crown like we would the lens of a camera first. And we're going to bring that golden sun down and allow it to saturate the brain, the folds, all the pieces and the parts of the brain, the pituitary, the pineal gland, the limbic system, the cerebrum, the cerebellum, the medulla oblongata, and everything in between, the corpus callosum, the tissue between the skull and the brain. You feel it all, okay? It solidifies those affirmations and that programming that you just gave it into the brain. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body and you visualize that gold light moving down the spine, lighting up each vertebra on its way down, as it then begins to move down that grounding cord. And as that gold light cascades down that 6 inches in diameter grounding cord, all those scrubbing bubbles begin to fall away into Mother Earth, turning into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. Take this visualization all the way down to its roots. As you focus on breathing with the rhythm of your body as well. And from a heart-centered space, I want you to go ahead and see yourself where you want to be. I want you to see that as you open your heart and you send loving vibrations out into your aura layer. So open your heart like you would the lens of a camera. And just like you see those heart emojis when somebody's on live, you're going to send that out into your aura layer, and it's going to reach a critical mass and then push out into the world, into your environment, reaching your toroidal field, lighting that up. Lighting up the pyramid with the capstone that is on top of the toroidal field. Locking in to the ley lines of Mother Earth. And that unlocks the beam from the heavens that comes down through Mother Earth, through the heavens, through the capstone, through your toroidal field, through your higher self, through your aura layer, through your crown, all the way down through your body, following the path of the spine, moving down the grounding cord, inside of it, fortified by this white light, making sure that the walls of your grounding cord stay solid. Intangibly so, but at least solid. And you're receiving the messages not only from the divine, but from Mother Earth as well. You are connected. This is brain and heart coherence. Connected to the divine life force energy, cosmic, of the divine creator of all that is, and to the 3D world we live in, which is Mother Earth. So our creativity can channel and inform our reality, and our heart and mind stay aligned. So as you take a deep breath in and exhale, I want you to go ahead and close your heart chakra and let all the love settle in around you. Go ahead and close your crown like you would the lens of a camera, but just know that white light penetrates. Take another deep breath in and exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jolé. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, and I just feel this tingling. I could feel it. It's like all around here. Started off with the prefrontal cortex. Very nice.
Let's get deeper. You know, like meditation is fantastic. You know, like you say, you have the breath. How powerful, right? There's also just, but sometimes I wind up, if I'm not given an assignment or a creative visualization, I'm like, what am I going to have for dinner? You know, so the creative visualization allows us to take the power back. Because
Yes.
trust me, others are creatively visualizing in your brain. The
Yes.
TV, the newspaper, the movies, you know, your job, they're creatively visualizing in your brain for you. So take the power back.
I
Know
like
yourself.
that's a really good explanation of it, and it does show the power of it to really be able to create the visualization that takes you on this journey to where you want to go, rather than what you're about to eat when you're finished doing your meditation, right? So
Yes. Yes. You know, so, you know, I like to call it an active way of praying, of getting your message to the universe of what it is you want to accomplish. So that's what this is really all about at the end of the day, is because it's out there, you have a purpose. And believe it or not, it's right here at the eyelash. It's in you and all outside of you. So if we can align with it, It gets
Yeah.
easier.